Yay, Michaelangelo! Woohoo!
Good morning, all y'all. That's a good
Morning.
Southern greeting. Thank you beyond my heart's ability for coming out in this frigid, cold, exceptionally windy morning. It is such a joy to look out and to see an extreme diversity of faces. Isn't that Santa Fe? Isn't that New Mexico? Look around. I mean, you're really representing today, and that is so exceptionally powerful. So I have written something, but he said I was a bishop, and I've been a priest who loves y'all.
Woo!
And it is my habit to go off script, so bear with me. I want to share something about myself and many other people that you may not know about, but that is tremendously endangered by the incoming administration. I was born intersex, so that means I wasn't born male or female, but something else. And the existence of intersex individuals is not just a biological reality, but also a profound challenge to the simplistic and ignorant notion that humans are strictly binary.
That's right.
Male or female.
Woo! Yeah.
This biological diversity also mirrors the spectrum of gender identities, including transgender and non-binary identities. In fact, most intersex people identify as non-binary because we're not binary.
Woo! Yeah. That's right.
So, you are probably a bit of the choir, but I want to talk about this for a minute. Let's start with the basics. Intersex is a term used to describe individuals born with physical sex characteristics such as chromosomes, hormones, or anatomy that don't fit typical definitions of male or female. These variations are natural and occur in approximately 1.7% of the global population. You have the same chance of being born with red hair as being born intersex. And I know a bunch of redheaded intersex folks. Similarly, transgender folks, general non-binary folks, it's the same idea. It's the exact same idea. They absolutely defy the traditional social definition of male and female, but let me tell you, that is a social construct, and it does not exist in nature.
Right. Social construct.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but the collar tells me I have to remind people that in my faith tradition, God created nature. And so if non-binary is all over creation, why on earth would it be not part of humanity?
That's right.
So, from a scientific perspective, intersex demonstrates that sex is not binary, it exists on a spectrum. We can look at genetics. For me, I was born with XXY chromosomes. So I'm not XY male or XX female, I'm something else. I'm non-binary. There's triple X, there's XXYY, there's X alone, there's an endless list. In fact, according to the National Institutes of Health, there are 33 possible variations of chromosomes alone. Different cells have different chromosomal makeups, and the variations result in diverse expressions of physical traits that don't neatly align with traditional categories. Remember that the folks that have voted in MAGA are somehow traditionalists, so they only look at this traditional way of seeing things. It just defies science.
Yep.
Okay.
Science.
Science is real.
Facts.
So briefly, I want to talk beyond genetics. Hormone levels and reproductive anatomy is also very widely. For example, There are conditions like androgen insensitivity syndrome, which results with XY chromosomes developing typical female traits. So you can look completely and utterly female on the outside, have all female plumbing on the outside, and be totally XY chromosomally.
Yep.
But apparently, I'm hallucinating that. And it's not really there, even though I know people with it.
Yep.
Science!
Science!
So, all of this is to say, is I give up on this, because it's blowing too much. For a party that purportedly is made up entirely of believing Christians, they are the least Christ-like people I have ever experienced.
That's right.
In fact, most atheists I know reflect more Jesus from their eyes than the average MAGA Republican.
Yeah.
There, I said it, it's true. I'm really blessed. I'm really lucky. I am so exceptionally male passing. I'm the brawny man, right? And so it doesn't seem bad, but I can tell you the difference between living in Georgia and here in the simplest story. I lived 40 minutes outside of Athens, Georgia, and about an hour east of Atlanta in a little town called Madison, Georgia. And in that town, I could not get my hormones from a single pharmacy. I would either be told they were permanently out of stock, or they didn't prescribe them to people like me, or I was on the wrong dosage for a person to get that prescription from that pharmacy. My insurance covered it. My doctor in the same county prescribed it, but the local pharmacies wouldn't fill it, and I would have to drive an hour to Atlanta to pick up my hormones. When I moved here and filled my first prescription, it took a 3-minute conversation with my new general practitioner at Southwest, if you're wondering. I then went to their pharmacy where no one asked me a single question about why I was taking testosterone, but rather handed me my prescription and then gave me free syringes with 2 different sizes so I could draw it from the bottle and then inject it without pain. New Mexico is an oasis, and we need to do everything that we can as a human community. It's not a queer thing. It's not any particular group. Kevin was saying we're here for human rights, right? We all have to stand together for what we know is right. I've had the pleasure, Cam, of hanging out with Raphael Warnock. I had the pleasure of hanging out with John Lewis and Julian Bond and a whole bunch of folks that were freedom riders and everything in between. And the one thing I can tell you is as soon as every one of them that are still alive, I said, I'm moving to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And they said, man, I wish I could go there. Man, you're going to be so happy here. It's going to be great. And then I got here and I found out that as amazing as it is, y'all, we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I know I'm coming from out of state. 25 years in Georgia and 25 years in New York and 7 months here. And I don't know how much of a right of a voice that gives me, but by golly, I'm looking at this crowd and I feel like if we stick together and we keep talking to 4 or 5 new people every day, we will get through the next 4 years. But we can't do it individually. We have to have the common unity that we call community. Community is literally things that we have in common that unite us together. And if you look around right now, this is common unity. So let's take it, let's get through this legislative session, and let's kick ass for the next 4 years and say, we're in New Mexico, and we're not going to take it from you.
Yeah.
Amen? Thank you.
Yeah.